Hi everyone, Eloise here, and today I have the absolute pleasure of guest designing for Your Next Stamp. Karen, that owns Your Next Stamp, so generously sent me so many stamps and dies and gumdrops to work with. I had such a hard time choosing what product to use first, so I decided to make 3 separate videos showcasing all of the products that I was sent, and so I'm just showing this one today, but the other 2 will come down the road as well. So I'm just so incredibly grateful that they sent me so many products to work with. It was so incredibly generous of them. They didn't have to do that, but they did. So for today, I'm going to be using the cute Gnomies stamp set, and this one really just stood out to me because I love gnomes. I love garden gnomes. They're just so super cute, and so I decided to use them today. So I'm going to go ahead and use my Copic colors or Copic markers to do my Copic coloring today, and that is my preferred way of coloring. I just really love using them. I find them fast and super easy to use, so that's what I'm using today, and I'm using the dark to light technique. So when I use the dark to light technique, I only ever use that when I'm using colours that I'm familiar with and I know that they're going to blend well together. At the start, I had a lot of trouble blending these markers because I wasn't familiar with trios of colours that would blend well together, so I always used to go light to dark and then dark to light to make sure that I had saturated the paper. But now that I'm a little bit more experienced with them, I feel anyway, I'm more comfortable with going dark to light because I know that I have trios that work very well together, and so you're going to get a seamless blend first time round, and also, you don't use as much marker going dark to light either because you're only using the marker once. So I really love doing this now, and it's also a lot faster as well. So you can see here that I've just been colouring just certain parts of the images. I used some greens for the little jumper and the grass. I used some red for the little top of the toadstool and some browns for the bottom of the toadstool. I then went ahead and used some oranges for the little hat of that gnome on the right and the shoes, or the boots I should say, and then I just went ahead and used some blues for his jeans on the left there. Now I'm going in and using some browns for his little eyebrows and beard on both of the little gnomes. Now I'm going ahead and using one of my favourite trios for skin tones here, and just colouring in both of their little faces and their ears. Then I decided to go ahead and use the same blues that I did for the little pants for the gnome's little hat. Now that I've gone ahead and done that, I decided that I would use browns for the pants on the gnome on the right here, and that's just because I didn't really want another colour competing with the red on the toadstool, so I decided just to have him have brown pants. And then I just used my favourite yellow trio for his top here, and then just used the same orange for the little accents on the shirt. So for the little gnome on the left, I wasn't sure what colour I wanted to do his little gloves and his boots and the little belt around his tummy, so I decided to just go with some light cool greys, and I really love how that complements that. So now that I've gone ahead and done that, I'm going to go ahead and work on the pinwheel. So I'm sort of going in a rainbow way. Can't really do a full rainbow since there's only 4 sections here, but I decided just to do the red, orange, yellow and green. They're the same colours that I used on the rest of the images here, so I'm not using too many markers. And then I decided to use just 2 of the blue markers that I was using before for the little hat and pants on the centre here, so you sort of do get most of the rainbow. Now that I've gone ahead and coloured those, I just went ahead and used the same yellows for the little bumblebee here and the little middle of the flower, and then used some dark cool greys for the black areas of the bumblebee. I then used the cornane dies to cut them all out, which was super fun and easy to do, especially since those images are quite intricate and there are some really small images in that stamp set too, so having the cornane dies is really handy. Now I'm going to be working on the background, and so I wanted to do the Distress Ink smushing technique here, and I wanted to just sort of go in the left hand corner and sort of come downwards. I didn't want to cover the whole background, so I'm using Tim Holtz watercolor cardstock. I predominantly use this cardstock just because I really love it, but I especially love using it when I'm going to have a lot of white showing on my card, since I want that white to match the white outline of the images. I don't want it to be cream, which a lot of watercolor cardstocks are. So for this watercolor smushing technique here, I just squished the Distress Ink pad onto some acetate, sprayed it with some water, and then just smushed it down onto my cardstock here. And to sort of get this watercolor to sort of fade out into white a little bit better, so there's not as many harsh lines, I decided to go ahead and just pull in a paintbrush and just sort of dab on some watercolor on the sides here. Now, to give the background just a little bit more interest, I decided to flick on some water to give that water splotch effect, and I really love how that turned out. And then I just went ahead and dried that with my heat tool. Now that the background is all complete, I can go ahead and start sort of arranging my scene. So you can see here that I'm just placing both of these little gnomes next to each other on the card. This is how I'm going to have them. And then I just wanted one little thing in the sky, so I decided to just use the little bumblebee, and I really love that trio of images there. It looks really fun. Now that I've gone ahead and sort of worked out my scene, I'm going to be using this stamp set. So this is the Cool Tag Banner Sentiments stamp set. Now there are lots of great sentiments that come in the gnome set, but I really just wanted one that would fit on a tiny little strip. So I decided to go ahead and use this stamp set here, just since it worked a little bit better for what I was going for. So I'm using this Have a Fun Day sentiment, and I just thought that that would be quite fitting since these gnomes look like they're enjoying themselves. So I'm going to go ahead and cut a strip of black cardstock, and I just cut that to be like sort of the same width of the stamp, just to have a little black above and below. I then went ahead and white heat embossed that on there and just trimmed it down with a trimmer to make it rectangular to fit that sentiment a little bit better. Now I've just gone ahead and added some foam tape behind all of the images and just arranged them on my card like I had previously showed, and then added that little sentiment there next to the gnome holding the pinwheel. So now that my panel is all complete, I can go ahead and add this to a card base. So I've just gone ahead and pulled out a 4" by 5.5" card base that I had already previously made, and just use my ATG to adhere down my panel. Now these are some really fun gumdrops. These are called the Enchanted Garden Sparkly Gumdrop Mix, and they just had the perfect shade of green and blue to match my background. So I decided to use a trio of green on the bottom and the couple of blue on the top there, and I just really love how that looks. It turned out really great. So that finishes up my card for today. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you so much to Your Next Stamp for having me as a guest designer. I had a lot of fun playing with your products. Karen has also very generously given me the opportunity to give away the stamp set that I used in today's video. So I'm going to be giving away the Cute Gnomies stamp set. So all you have to do is either leave a comment on the video on my channel or Your Next Stamps channel, and then I will compile the names together and the comments, draw a random winner using a random number, and then I will announce the winner on my blog. So make sure that you leave a comment below to be entered into the giveaway to win this stamp set. So thank you again so much for watching. I really did hope you enjoyed today's video, and I will catch you all next time.